What's up, YouTube? Good morning to everyone. Hope everyone's making it a great day. I want to talk to you about some things I looked at last night on YouTube. Want to get your opinion on it. Before we get started, if you could like, share, subscribe, comment if you've experienced some of this or what your thoughts are. But let's go ahead and jump into the video. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of he's on social media a lot. He started out on Pop Balloon's Hair and the Plumber, Mr. Fight Night himself. Mr. Catch a Fade. But I bring him up because he brought up I watched something yesterday and he brought up a good point. He said women today will give you the box before they buy you a burger. Now listen to that, what I just said. They give you the box before they'll buy you a burger. Meaning they will have relations with you before they even pay for your food. Which, if you think about it in the grand scheme of things, that's crazy, right? I mean, because it almost puts more value on the burger than the box, right? So, I mean, if I can't get food out of you, right, and much less cooking, because I know a lot of women will not cook for a guy because they say that's boyfriend material, that's boyfriend things, right? Which I also think is crazy because I'm like, you do realize having relations is relationship things, right? I mean, if you're freely out there giving away the box and saying that, well, I won't cook for a man, but I'll sleep with him, that's wow. I mean, and I said it because for men, it's always been our reasoning to get the box, right? So we'll pivot and move however we need to get the box. Women's superpower, divine power over the years was withholding the box until they were able to extract resources from a man or get a man to make a commitment. I think once women stop using, and I mean just being honest, stop using their most powerful gifts of femininity and withholding that part of themselves, that's when things began to fall apart a little bit. Because I mean, if you're not withholding something back, or at least saving that for when you're in a relationship, what reason does a man have to commit to you? And a lot of them are like, well, I don't need commitment. I mean, that's fine if you want help in this world, because it's not easy to do this thing by yourself. You can say you're fine, being independent boss bae and everything, but I don't think anyone wants to walk this journey by themselves. I mean, maybe you do, but there'll be a time when all that independent boss bae, and even for a dude, like being that guy, it gets old, right? As you get older, you age out of the game. I mean, a guy can stay in the game a little bit longer, or sometimes a lot longer than women, depending on what his resources look like. At the end of the day, let's say something happens to this guy, medical wise. Those young tenderonis, they're not staying around to help him or take care of him. They're there with him as long as he can provide the lifestyle they're looking for. So that's neither here nor there. But I think that, like people always say, why buy the cow if you can get the milk for free, right? And I think it pushes this situation to where a lot of women wonder why men act the way they act nowadays, because the things that we used to hold value for, as far as what we wanted from a woman, they don't even place value on it themselves. So why if you don't place any value on that as a woman, why should I? I think the wildest thing is, and I saw this from Lotto. I think it was Lotto the other day. She was, people were commending her, and she was talking about, oh, I would never have a threesome with my man. If he's my man, I'm not having a threesome because I'm not sharing my man with anyone. And most girls, like, people in the comments were like, oh, yeah, girl, that's right. If you jealous and selfish, stand on that. And I found that crazy because I'm like, so you're implying that if he wasn't your man, you'd have a threesome with him? And do you think that your man would be okay with, let's say he find out like you were this wild freak with every other dude except for him? Like, oh, and I mean a lot of women say that. A lot of women say that. So it's not just Lotto, but she brings up a good point. Like women will say, well, I'll do that freaky stuff, but I'm not gonna do it with my guy. I'm not sharing my guy. What makes you think your guy would find that particular trait at all appealing, right? To know that other men who didn't put in the work that he put in to get you, right? Because I mean, could you be somebody's man? You would hope that they have some criteria and it would have to have some attributes and traits that particular woman found appealing for a relationship, right? So if he got with you and he found out that, okay, well, when you were with old buddy who didn't do any of the things that I had to do, he got to mess with you and your friend and do all these freaky things, and now that we're together, you're like, no, I don't do that because you're my guy. It's either all or none. It's either A, you're going to continue to do that with me and you're going to give me more of that as your man, or B, don't do it at all. Because if you're not going to do it with your man, then you shouldn't do it at all, right? That's like the equivalent of saying, well, I spent money on them chicks because they were my girl. Like, I flew them out and did all these things, but now that you're my girl, I want to be more practical and save money. You would lose your absolute mind. You would lose your absolute mind if a man said that to you. If a man said, I am not going to trick off on you because we're trying to be something, like I trick off on the other girls. You're like, oh, you bought this girl purses, took her on trips, and now that you with me, you can't do none of that? Well, that's the same thing. That's the same. It's worse, but in your situation, I think it's worse. But it is the feeling that you're getting right now. If a man was to provide for a woman, for women that weren't his girlfriend, and then got a girlfriend and then didn't want to provide and do nothing for her, that's equivalent womenese for what you're talking about, right? I think it's crazy. I think women that say that stuff, I always look at them and it makes me want to, say, like, so you do it with some random? To have the experience, like, well, there's no attachments, but then you expect your guy to be like, okay with it? Like, sometimes women don't hear themselves when they say things. Like, in what world does any man want to be that guy? Want to be that guy like, okay, yeah, my girl was out there in them streets being freaky with any random guy she was dealing with, but now that she with me, she don't do none of that. You think that's pride that man feels? And I think it all boils down to women have thrown their femininity out the window, and they're moving like men. They're moving like men, and they're getting the results from that, right? And it's hard to really convey to women like how crazy it sounds for them to be saying the things that they say. And I mean, because as soon as a man hears that, it's like, what? You said what now? So I get less as your man than some random stranger? And it'd be the same thing like when a girl, like, is dealing with a guy, let's say, how they say they have cut buddies or whatever, right? It's the same thing, right? So let's say a woman, for this particular guy, she breaks all the rules, right? So every other guy she dealt with, like, oh, you got to be my guy, get these goodies or whatever, and you got to do this, that, and the third. But then some random guy comes around, he don't have to do none of that. He don't have to treat you, don't have to wine and dine you, and he don't have to do none of that. He just gets straight to the box. You think I want to be your boyfriend after that? So he get full advantage of everything that I want. And you say, well, boyfriend material. Like, I think that women sound crazy when they say these things. You know, they sound crazy. Things like, oh, your boyfriend material. I want to do that because you're boyfriend material. Like, I'm boyfriend material, but I'm not sweet desire material. You know, it's just things that I think about, and I think that some women just really don't understand how crazy they sound when they say it. But that's just my thoughts, guys. Tell me what you think. Comment. If you disagree or agree, or you experienced that. Like I said, any commenting, liking, and subscribing to the video will definitely help me out in the algorithm. I really appreciate it, guys, and I hope you guys have a great day.